Hello again and welcome back to Star Trek Online. Alright, we're doing one more patrol mission. I think this is the last one, but don't quote me on that. And, let's just get started, shall we? We're already where we're supposed to be. Why aren't we activating it? Amaga? Are you what I need? Where is the patrol? There it is. Ruins of Doom. I know what this mission is. It is mildly difficult.
Getting some unusual readings from the spore colonies in this system. They're mutating at an accelerated rate, absorbing and emitting some nasty radiation as they do so.
Harpang radiation. It was used to destroy the Doomsday Machine.
Right, well, the spores are growing on the debris of this Doomsday Machine, which is where all of that radiation is coming from. This is a problem. The radiation is bleeding into the mycelial network through the spores. It'll cause serious damage if we don't deal with it.
Recommendations.
Hate to say it, but we need to cull the mutated spore colonies before the damage to the network is too great to
Understood.
reverse.
Helm, take us into the first spore colony. Alright.
We do not want to get hit by those radiation pincers. Trust me.
Okay, so they give you a timer of 20 seconds. Within that 20 seconds, you have to fly in, call the colony, and fly back out.
Watch out! Mokai raiders on an
Of course. And you also have to deal with Mokai. Thankfully, you can cart them into the blast range, which is what we're going to do. There we go. Come on, kill and blow. Let's hope that worked. Alright, you need to be dead now. Please be dead now. Dead now. Where? Oh, crap. Stop targeting. Cull mutated spores. Culling.
Let's deal with the next spore colony before the Mokai.
Yeah, we can't. We gotta get out of here. There we go. Oh. There go all my little ships. I got out of there fast, so they didn't follow me. Alright. Next one. Take our time. Move slowly. There we go. Relaunch the ships. Don't remember if it's this one or the next one. Or we get another ambush. Okay, let's get in there and get out of there. Call mutated spores.
Colony neutralized. Let's head
Yep,
toward the next
head toward the next one.
Picking up Mokai ships on long-range sensors. We're about to have company.
And we're about to cart them into the radiation again. We might as well, right? No reason not to use the environment to our advantage. Come on, everybody. You know you want to. We're just gonna sit right here. In fact, let's use this. Pull them right in. Why did you aim that high up? Apparently because I was facing upward. I was aimed up, so they went up. Alright, I'm gonna wait for this to fire before we go in. Hopefully my little ships don't get blown up. But they're flying through it. Couple of them got blown up. Okay, call the spores.
Destroy these fools and take back what is
Of course. Alright, get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. Let's see. Activate this. Hey, what do you know? The border ski showed up. Oh, I'm getting my ass kicked. Hold up. We are not part of that. Let's activate this. We're gonna summon our own border skew. Stop targeting the big ship that we can't destroy. Yeah. It's always nice to have a Klingon on our side.
We will fight another day.
Of course you will. The Klingons, you will never stop fighting. Love how she left, and her forces are still coming in. Alright, let's activate the prolonged engagement. Might as well. Would you stop disabling my systems? I'm trying to activate shit, you just disable my systems. Now let's summon myself, and then summon these guys too. Take some items. No, let's call in the Kobayashi Maru. We haven't brought them into a battle sequence in a while. Take the items. Take all the items. Let's see if we can get close enough to take this one too. There we go. Where are you? There you are. You're beneath me. It's taking the 14s. Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay, that was just a boost, a gentle boost, not a... Oh look, I leveled up again. Leaves only one more. Ooh, that was fun.
Glorious! Did you see how Jahura ran like a scalded tar? She is not Klingon, and a disgrace to the memory of her honorable brother. I shall remain vigilant. If the coward Jahula shows her hideous face here again, I will finish what we started here this day. I will send her, screaming, to the gates of Grethel.
She has a lot to answer for.
Is it me, or do most forms of Klingon justice ultimately end with screaming in Grethel? You know... Look, as long as House Mokai isn't polluting and destroying my ceiling,
Alright, let's get out of here. Yay! Away we go.
The long-range sensor arrays in the Trayla system went offline recently. Last thing they picked up before that happened was a Borg scout ship. I'm heading to Trayla's now to investigate. If this is the beginning of a new Borg incursion, I could use some backup. Meet me there as soon as you can.
This next mission, technically next two missions, ends in one of the coolest scenes I have ever seen. I've ever witnessed, I should say. The Measure of Morality Part 1 and 2. And it's so cool, and only this game, with its support, could have pulled it off. Alright. Accept the mission.
Until next time.
Let me get through all of this crap real quick. Nothing worth saving, so sell it all. Oh, that reminds me, I should have enough now. Wrong thing. Oh wait, let me level up first, before I forget. Juggernaut armor plating, Juggernaut shielding. Okay, Juggernaut armor plating. Just need one more. It'll take forever to get, but we'll just need one more. Okay. Okay. Space reputation, space reputation. Space. Space! Okay. something else I was gonna do. Oh, it's still in here. Reputation. I've been running out of these, so I haven't been able to do the daily and hourly stuff, so now I can. Do I just open these and get rid of this stuff as quickly as possible? Don't have the Kobayashi Maru for another 40 minutes. Alright, first time I've been using you, so nothing to worry about. There we go, sort. Love how this says 3,574 minutes. Alright, that should be all we need, so let's move on to the Measure of Morality Part 1. Alright, here we go. You're not ready for this. Okay, long loading times, as usual. Should have just jumped straight here and not worried about it. Not worried about selling all my stuff and getting stuff into the bank and all the other junk that I did. Because this is, like I said, it's a 2-part episode. And I don't know if we'll have enough time to finish part 1. Start at 8:40, okay?
Thanks for coming. Been a while. You look well. Considering what I hear about your exploits, that's an impressive feat. Back to business. Spotting a Borg scout here made a lot of people nervous, and with good reason.
I can imagine.
So, some old friends called in a favor, and here I am. I came here looking for Borg, but the real problem turned out to be sabotage. Orion smugglers fouled up the long-range array, but they left the short-range sensors intact. I have plenty of evidence from the sensor logs to turn over to Alliance.
And the Borg?
Still a concern. If they're sizing up this quadrant as an incursion zone, we need to know about it. I have a few ideas on upgrading the sensor arrays, making them harder to disable and better at spotting Borg. Beam me over and we can sort out...
Very well. Stand by for transport.
With your assistance, I can complete the modifications quickly.
Alright, let's get to it. USS Crow River. Go faster, please. There we go. Satellite updates. When I say stop, please stop. Don't keep rolling forward.
Now that we have a working array, our next step will be initiating the new security protocols. Hold on. Are you seeing this? The long-range sensors just lit up like a dog.
Analysis?
Reading a massive energy surge. We're being scanned. Something's overriding all our control systems.
Shields up, brace for impact. Okay then. That was weird. Okay then. Also weird.
Oh, that was unpleasant. Still, there are no damage reports. No.
Where are we?
Scanning. This is...
Care to enlighten us?
According to astrometrics, we were catapulted several hundred light years from Trailus to the Excalibur.
Excalibur? Seem to recall a few space legends about this place.
Here's some facts to go along with those legends. In the 23rd century, Excalbians abducted the USS Enterprise and subjected some of her crew to a series of combats. Some sort of morality test.
I don't like the look of this. Is it possible we're here for the same reasons?
Feels that way to me. I doubt they dragged us all the way out here to have a ractogeno and talk about baseball. There's one way to find out for sure. Hail them and see what they want.
Lots of atmospheric interference on Excalibur. We can't establish comms.
I can boost the signal once the ship is in a standard orbit. Assuming the Excalbians are in a talking mood, we should have answers.
Great, Helm, take us into orbit over Excalibur. So this is a classic Trek scenario from the original series. The Excalbians essentially kidnap you and then make you do some sort of test.
We are receiving your signal. On behalf of the Excalbian people, I bid you welcome.
A human on Excalibur? Who are you? Speak.
My name is Abraham Lincoln. Some time ago, I met and fought beside members of a Federation starship crew. Under the circumstances, we felt a somewhat familiar face would make this encounter more agreeable.
I see. Tell me, Mr. Lincoln, why have you brought us here?
That is a complicated matter, I'm afraid. I think it would be easier to discuss it face to face. We prepared a meeting ground on the surface of Excalibur. It meets your needs for atmosphere and climate, as I understand them. Will you join us there?
We will hear what you have to say, Lincoln. Prepare for our arrival. If you're playing a Starfleet captain, you'll actually call him Mr. President. Alright, we only get one choice here. Of course I'm gonna go with my good doctor. Wait a minute, why do you have stasis field? You should not have stasis field. I usually switch that out. Okie dokie. Yeah, it's always a good idea to either bring a doctor or an engineer. Since you only get one choice, go with the doctor for this one.
Welcome, friends. I do hope the local climate is to your liking.
The climate's fine. It's our abduction that we have a problem with, friend.
My apologies. It was not an action of my choosing, I can assure you.
There he is.
Your presence is required for a matter of great importance.
Greater than conversations with dead presidents?
Long ago, the two of us were involved in a study, if you will.
An evaluation of two concepts, good and evil. The initial results were ultimately inconclusive.
The debate has continued since that time.
We now seek a final resolution.
What does that have to do with us, exactly?
You have been chosen as advocates for the concept of good.
But you will not face it alone.
Here she is. Commander Burnham.
Hello. Looks like we have a lot of work to do here.
That's putting it mildly.
So she's obviously a reconstructed version of Burnham made by Yarnak. So she's not necessarily the real Burnham, but she's like Paul Stamets. She has all of the knowledge and all of the memories of Michael Burnham up until the point where they were lost in the jump to, I think, the end of season 3 or something like that. So I won't spoil much. So
You have questions. I will attempt to clarify our...
we're listening.
In this trial, you will be accompanied by associates that we have created for you. You will confront a variety of situations in opposition to evil forces. Your actions will be judged, as will those of your opponents. The prevailing concept will guide us as a people. We shall pursue the virtues of good, or the vices of evil.
Why have you chosen violence as a mean to evaluate the concepts?
We find violent conflicts produce pure examples of good and evil. They provide the best results to evaluate, and
if we refuse to participate in this trial?
failure to participate will be seen as your endorsement of the supremacy of evil. The trial will then conclude with a judgment in favor of evil, and our subsequent pursuit of the concept as a guiding principle.
Fight or evil wins by default. That's not much of a choice.
The trial awaits you. Proceed through the portal behind me when you are
Very well, let's get this over with.
I think we need to be cautious when dealing with the Excalbians. They're a lot like Q, minus a sense of humor. Fashion sense could use a little work.
Indeed. Recommendations?
For now, I say we play their game and stay in one piece. Look for opportunities to swing things in our favor. Our new teammate here might have some insight into the situation.
Good point.
now.
Anything you'd like to add, Commander?
Michael Burnham, of the USS Discovery.
We know of the discovery in the Empire, an honorable vessel and crew.
Judging by your uniforms, I'd say I'm in the future. The last thing I remember was preparing for battle with my crew, and the crew of the Enterprise. Since we're having this discussion, I'm guessing we won that fight. My apologies, my memory's a bit fuzzy. Possibly a side effect of whatever brought me.
Indeed. Welcome to 2411, Commander.
Over 150 years. Fascinating. Right. I'll catch up later. Assuming we get through this trial in one
Indeed.
piece. To address your original question, I wish I had all the answers, but I know as much as you do. Going through this trial will give us the chance to conduct some tests of our own, learn more about them and the situation here.
Agreed. Let's not keep the omnipotent beings waiting, then.
Take heart, my friends. Yarnik has a forceful personality, but his voice is not the only one heard here. There are many Excalbians who would embrace virtues before vice.
It's good to have allies.
Well said. And as one of your allies here, I have a warning for you. The trials are drawn from your past experiences and records, but they will not be identical recreations. There will be alterations to test your responses and those of your opponents. Expect the unexpected.
Thank you for the information.
Please accompany me.
Alright, let's follow Abraham Lincoln into the portal. There's a sentence in it.
Beyond that portal, the first trial awaits. Good luck, my friends.
My tricorder's showing a Class M tropical biome. By the look of things, this world is under attack. I'm reading a lot of weapons fire from several locations.
This is Brea 3. We've been here before, during this battle, in fact.
This is a safe position for now, but that could change soon. We need to get to cover fast. I see a plaza ahead. And casualties. Enemy forces may...
Ready weapons and move out. Alright, here we go. You remember Brea 3, right?
This didn't happen long ago. Some of the bodies are still warm. When did this take place, originally? I don't recognize the uniforms on these.
They aren't Vulcans, they're Romulans.
Romulans? You're serious? Those are Romulans. This is a long
So yeah,
weekend.
she's from before the Romulans the Romulans split off from the Vulcans. Romulans are an offshoot of Vulcans who left after the Time of Awakening.
The Romulans are... I clearly have a lot of catching up to do. But the middle of a war zone isn't an ideal place for...
Agreed.
These Romulans are Tal Shiar, members of a covert military intelligence force. Their list of enemies is long. Any number of them could be responsible for this attack.
In this case, it's Riemann partisans. I know where we are, I know what's going on.
this one was killed by heavy plasma weaponry. Strange. I'm also reading trace amounts of several exotic particles in the area. Antiproton, tachyon. Whoever else was in this fight used some extremely advanced...
Sounds like Iconian weaponry.
Makes sense. The Iconians were allies of the Tal Shiar at this time. They were probably fighting at their side. This may be one of the unexpected changes Lincoln warned us about. Iconians arriving.
That's an unpleasant thought. Okay, so the Iconians are here. Yep.
Some kind of constructs. They're using anti-proton weapons.
Yeah, they are.
Heralds.
Oh crap, this one's gonna blow. Alright, never mind. Nothing I can do about it. Of course, the people with the blasters get all the kills. Destroy force field.
Those were Iconians?
Not quite. They were heralds, harbingers of things to come.
Heralds are augmented servants of the Iconians. They were used primarily as shock troops. We've encountered them before, but if they're here now, things are worse than
Yeah.
There's a tactical force field blocking our way. That looks like the emitter over there. Should be simple enough to destroy it.
Let's take it out and move onward. Alright, where's the emitter? There's the emitter. There we go. Alright, now into the fray. Hello, everybody.
Tal Shiar and Heralds fighting Riemann combat squads. Wonderful.
So, these Remans, they're on our side. Good to know.
At least they seem to be.
You there! I would speak with you.
That's a good point. Technically, the Remans would be Romulans as well, or Vulcans as well.
Your timing is fortuitous, my old friend. My resistance forces are closing in on Hakiv's laboratory, but he has opened an Iconian gate. The Iconians have sent their minions to aid Hakiv, but all is not lost. We can still stop.
Of course.
The lab is not far from here. If we can fight our way past the guards, we can put an end to all this. And Hakiv...
Hold a sec. Do you know what's happening here with the Excalbians?
Excalbians? No, Iconians. Hakiv has brought them here. They're putting up quite a fight. I'll need all the help I can get to stop him. Will you
I
help
see.
me?
Yes, let's find and stop Hakiv.
Looks like there's another tactical force field blocking the way. This Hakiv really doesn't want to be interrupted.
Delaying tactics. Let's find and destroy the shield emitter quickly.
It may not be in an obvious place. Check the nearby buildings.
Good point. Spread out, signal the group if you spot the emitter. There it is. Now let's summon this thing. Never mind.
Excellent. Hakiv has holed up in the south like the cornered vermin he is. Once we're near his position, I can set up a jamming field to prevent him from beaming out. Then we can bring him to justice. At last.
You might be able to block transporters, Obasek, but I doubt you can block a functional Iconian gate. As long as that remains open, Hakiv will be able to escape. Deal with the gate first, then you can talk about justice.
Agreed, let's shut that gate down. Alright, moving on. Let's help fight these guys. Okay, why'd you target that one? Wanted you in the middle of the plaza, not at the edge of it. Fused construct, there we go. Regular construct. Oh, what do you know? You spotted the... Oh, it's a quantum mortar. And it's killing our forces. And it's killing me. Someone take that thing down. Well done, Solar Gateway. There we go. But unfortunately, it is time to end. Alright, gaming. Thank you so much for joining me today, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out when you do that. As I always like to say at the end of these videos, don't get assassinated!